Don't miss the epic battles on the high banks of Eagle Raceway each Saturday between the Nebraska Septic Sprint Cars, Nebraska Lottery Modifieds, Avid Realty Sport Mods, Valentino's Hobby Stocks, and A1 Iron Stock Cars. Let's go racing. Eagle Raceway, just 10 miles east of Lincoln on O Street. Check out the full schedule at eagleraceway.com.
Are you a skilled mechanic looking for your next opportunity? Nebco is hiring. They're looking for experienced mechanics to join our family-owned team. They offer competitive wages, great benefits, service trucks, OEM-level diagnostic software, and career growth opportunities. Apply today at nebco.com. Positions include lead and A-level mechanics for the Nebco shop. Learn more at nebco.com. If you're driven and ready to grow with a company that's been around since 1908, apply today at nebco.com.
Hi, Sean Callahan here for Cobble Chevrolet GMC, and they're having the biggest hail sale they've ever had. A huge opportunity is at your front door right now. Some of these cars we're fixing, some we're not, and some it's totally up to you. New Sierra starting at $15,000 off list. New Canyons at $8,500 off list. New body styles on the Acadias, $3,000 off list. You need to hurry as there's going to be a lot of people heading to Louisville. Check us out at cobblecars.com. Stock numbers G121492. G187747, and G196599.
Lincoln's new craft cocktail lounge is Bar 48 in Lincoln. Located at 2639 North 48th Street, Bar 48 offers everything from cocktails to beer to wine and so much more. With summer right around the corner, you can always enjoy Bar 48's frozen beverages. Follow them on Facebook to stay up to date on their live music performances every Saturday night. Make plans to visit Bar 48 on North 48th Street in the heart of the University Place neighborhood today.
Rashawn Jackson here for Bauer Infrastructure, a veteran-owned local company proudly serving Lincoln, Lancaster County, and the surrounding areas. Bauer provides quality work at an affordable price, and they're growing rapidly. If you want to experience a career with a fast-paced, family-friendly environment, visit BauerInfrastructure.com. They have top-of-the-line benefits, year-round work, even through the winter. Bauer, usher in the new era of infrastructure to an area near you. And as always, go Big Red!
Although we can't control the air we breathe outside our home, we can make a healthy difference inside, and all it takes is a call to Bryant. With healthy air options, Bryant can help you eliminate allergens, odors, and harmful chemicals, all while controlling indoor humidity levels at the same time. If it's time for a breath of fresh air inside, it's time to call Bryant. Breathe easy, breathe healthy. Bryant Air Conditioning, Heating, Electrical, and Plumbing. 467-1111. Bryant, whatever it takes.
Take control of your health with the DASH scan at Advanced Medical Imaging. The DASH scan is a full-body MRI designed for advanced health screening. This dynamic approach provides exceptionally sharp images across multiple organ systems, helping to detect potential concerns early. With minimal radiation and no invasive procedures, the DASH scan offers a safe, comprehensive look at your health. Plus, results are delivered faster than ever, giving both patients and physicians confidence in screening and diagnosis. Your health is too important to wait. Schedule your DASH scan today at Advanced Medical Imaging. Visit amimaging.com or call 402-484-6677 to learn more.
A smoke-free environment is the only way to fully protect from the dangers of secondhand smoke. That's why smoke-free policies are so important to me. Whether it's in my car, apartment building, or when I'm dining outdoors, there's no place for secondhand smoke or e-cigarette aerosol. Breathe easier knowing the facts. Visit smokefree.ne.gov. Paid for by Tobacco Free Nebraska. Aired with the Nebraska Broadcasters Association and this station.
93.7 The Ticket is proud to provide listeners with daily opportunities to win contests and prizes on our airwaves, and would like to take this opportunity to remind you of a couple rules. All participants must be 21 or older and must wait 30 days after winning a prize to participate in another contest. Once you win, you have 30 days to pick up your prize at the KNTK Studios, 1040 O Street in Lincoln, or your prize will be forfeited. Thank you for participating in our contests, and thank you for listening to 93.7 The Ticket.
This is Lincoln's home for sports talk on the FM dial. Also online at theticketfm.com.
On the internet.
KNTK FM Firth, 93.7 The Ticket. This is the Don't Punt Hour with former Nebraska receiver.
Throwing over the middle, completes the pass. He's got speed to the end zone. Touchdown! 45 yards.
And return specialist,
This time he beats the kicker and one more.
DeMornay Pierson-El.
Only does the sideline have confidence in Pierson-El, but Pierson-El has confidence in Pierson-El.
On 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com. Powered by the Teammates Mentoring Program.
All right, welcome in. Don't Punt Hour, DeMornay Pierson-El. No Harrison Arnson tonight, as he is still out on vacation, but I got DeMornay streaming in. And Jack Clenchman here on the ones and twos. DeMornay, how you doing?
Not too bad. You know, it's about as good as a Monday can be.
Yeah, it is Monday. So it's the beginning of the week. It's always one of those days where it's like it's either going to go slow or it's going to go fast. So
feel that for sure. It's been a slow one. Let's just say that.
I totally agree. Today went by. I can't even tell you how slow today went by. It's been a pretty interesting couple of days in sports. I know we've had the Boneyard Bash, or I think that's what it's called, the Boneyard Bash in Lincoln.
Yeah.
The NBA Finals are going on. The last time I was in here, I was listening to you talk about how you had belief in Indiana, and I was kind of sitting there like, I don't know. Me and Harrison kind of thought there might be a sweep going on there. But I was generous, and, I was like, maybe they'll get one game on them. And we're sitting 1-1, but Indiana looks pretty good. I mean, they had a rough game 2, but they're taking it back into Indiana game 3. But I wanted to get your thoughts on what you think Indiana is going to do in game 3 and then onward.
Again, I've said it, beforehand. Indiana is an unorthodox team.
Oh, yeah.
Like, it's I don't want to say it's hard to figure them out. You just don't know which Indiana is going to show up.
That's a good,
But between, like, people can say, oh, if Halliburton shows up and everything like that. But to be honest, I think Halliburton is 1A, like, B. I think it starts with Siakam. It depends on if he kind of gets going and gets rolling and everything like that. I think he gets lost in the shuffle, and people pay him his respects and everything like that. But I don't think they really appreciate, like what he kind of does there. I think game 2, Indiana kind of got in their way. They started slow. Game 1, they kind of started slow. They got themselves in a hole, and then they always, turn it up late. Even in game 2, they still turned it up late and whatnot. But OKC just didn't take, their foot off the pedal. Scenery change, going back home. I mean, it's going to be electric and everything like that. I think it's going to be definitely a competitive game. They have to match the physicality that OKC plays with, and they have to match, the how they swarm to the ball and create, other opportunities to score. I think OKC does a very good job of doing that. If Indiana can, control and having less turnovers that, get them fast breaks, get them going to the bucket and everything like that. If they cut that probably, in half and create, I would say, 10 to 15% of that, I think, OKC can really be on their heels. Williams showed up last night. Chet showed up last night.
Yeah.
What's the I can't think of the guy. He played with the Bulls. I see his face. I just can't think of his name. He's more of their defensive person. I can't think of his name. I think he wears 9 or whatnot. He was with the Lakers. I just can't think of his name. He showed up a little bit. I feel like if you kind of, control them to where you keep people out of their roles, I think Indiana has a strong shot, of making the game close. Because it's been 2 games to where, they've been up by 20, 30-something points, and, they've come back to, being a reasonable game. Game 1 went to, Indiana. Game 2, they kind of tucked their tails and kind of let it be with it. But, I mean, they still were right there. It wasn't as bad as it could have been. So, you have to watch out for Indiana. Indiana's sneaky, and if they, are feeling themselves and the energy is packed, that's kind of a team you don't want to face.
Yeah, it's definitely scary with it going back to and I got a comment here. It says you're thinking of Alex Caruso.
That's it. Yeah.
Alex Caruso, who's out there. But yeah, Indiana's a scary team. And I didn't realize, kind of like to your point with Pascal Siakam, because I talked to Harrison about this. Like, you need to educate me because I'm a little bit of a casual NBA fan. With Siakam, like I was a little like, why didn't the conference final MVP go to Tyrese Halliburton? That's who I thought. And I know a lot of people were saying that too. But if you looked at Siakam in that series, just statistically across the board, Siakam was leading the team about every category.
Easily.
If you can get him going within these next couple of games, and then obviously Halliburton's doing what Halliburton does, hitting buzzer beaters or whatever he does for that team, they're a threat. They're a big threat to a very deep team like OKC.
For sure. I think Halliburton has definitely had the flashier wins, and like the media has jumped in behind him, and it's like gotten overshadowed of what Siakam was doing. But I mean, as you said, I mean, he's definitely a menace, and I think OKC has done a very good job of making him uncomfortable, not making the baskets that he typically gets easy, or him getting in and getting in his zone. It hasn't been as smooth as you would think. I think game 1, second half was a little bit better than this last game, but again, I mean, you got OKC, who's the number 1 defense, so they're gonna take away, kind of what you do well. And I mean, any time that you've been driving, if throughout their whole playoffs, anybody that's been driving to the basket, you have multiple players showing up. And the one thing that that the refs have kind of been letting go for majority of it, it's the physicality. So, and I think a lot of players often had, like, I don't want to say flop, but instead of continuation and instead of following through and playing through, it may be a hard foul, but I mean, for the most part, I feel like it's a good physical. It's not anything that they should be able to not get through. It's not like they're getting clothesline when they get to the middle, but the refs have been letting things play out physicality wise, and I think a lot of people on the offensive wise have just been used to that easy quick whistle, and the refs have been letting it go. They've been letting it play, and I think Indiana has to kind of realize and stop relying just on the easy whistle and a turn on the attack mode, and I think that will kind of go into their favor, because we've seen OKC when that doesn't necessarily go, when they get to the basket regardless, like they don't necessarily care or whatnot, but Siakam, I think, is the important piece of that. He has to be the one to match Shai's output. If his numbers aren't close to Shai, if Shai got 30, Siakam has to have 28, 27, 30 for them to kind of be in it. Don't get me wrong, Halliburton's good and everything like that, but I don't think we've seen him really, I don't want to say carry the team, but lead the team really in points. Every now and then he might have, a game where he gets, 30 or whatnot. He may be the leader or whatnot, but we haven't seen, him do kind of what Shai has. Shai's averaging 39 points.
Yeah. I mean, he even in the loss, he shined. What did he put up? It was
I want to say it might have been like 37 or 38.
Yeah,
like it was right around, his average or whatnot. And if you go back and look at those games, Siakam is typically at least over 27, at least that. Halliburton's been around, 20 to 25. Now, hasn't been some games where he's gotten up there and whatnot, but he's not, a 30-point average. That's not necessarily his average. If you look at Siakam's more closer to that than anything. And I think when he's going, I think kind of everybody feeds off of that, and everybody games kind of opens up a lot more.
Yeah, it was interesting to kind of see what Pascal Siakam means to the team. And I'll ask you this. If we get to see, and I'll knock on wood for all the Pacers fans, if we get to see the Pacers win this ring, win out this series here, do you think that it's more likely that Pascal Siakam ends up being the finals MVP?
It's definitely a possibility. I mean, we same thing what we seen last year with Boston. I mean, the face of the organization is who? Tatum. And yet, in clutch moments and everything like that, I mean, it was Brown taking over. It was Brown doing things and everything like that. He was a staple among other players and whatnot. But, he was the constant, matter. He hit big shots, and he continued his plan. He got the Eastern Conference Final MVP and the final. So I mean, I think that's definitely on the table if Indiana wins it. Now, if Tyler goes off and is just averaging 35 and just he's playing Superman, then he might I could see it going to him, but that's just not his game. Like I'm not expecting him to put on a cape necessarily for all 4 quarters and doing that. I mean, his scouting report is he's taking some games off. He in a series of 7, it might be 2, maybe 3 games he might not be necessarily what he typically is, or on a superstar night, so you don't really hear that from Siakam. And I mean, not to say that he doesn't play hard or anything like that, but I think just Siakam has been the more consistent role with things and everything like that. With their success has always been with Siakam stepping up. Rarely have you, if you go back and look at their stats and everything like that, if he's having a terrible night, Halliburton's not saving them. If they're both having a terrible night, it's a loss. If Siakam is having an off night and everything like that, potentially more so than not, it's probably a loss than a win. Now, some wins will be predicated to that and whatnot. I'm not saying that there aren't those wins and everything like that, but their correlation is if Siakam is having a strong game, I think everybody around and the whole team typically does better, more so than him underperforming and Halliburton taking over.
Siakam has just been unbelievably consistent. He's pretty much dropping 30 every other game in the playoffs so far. Every other game, he's going ballistic with 30 points. And then even when he's not dropping 30, he's still putting somewhere between 15 to, I'll say like 19 to 21-ish points, which is great. And he's shooting pretty well from the field, from the line. I mean, you talk about consistency. I mean, the first thing that would come to mind is a guy like Pascal Siakam, but with Tyrese Halliburton, I think the media, when a guy's hitting buzzer beaters left and right through the playoffs,
you have to talk about it.
You're gonna have, it's gonna be everywhere. So like, I pay attention to the NBA, but like when the playoffs come on, I start to watch a little bit more. So just kind of seeing from like that outside perspective, like Tyrese Halliburton is the face of the franchise, but he definitely is putting up good numbers, just not in comparison to a very consistent guy like Pascal Siakam, who in my mind is the team's MVP. So, and I did learn something today about Tyrese Halliburton. Did you know that Tyrese Halliburton's first offer out of high school was Nebraska?
No, I didn't know that.
I had no clue until somebody on Twitter, I can't remember what the post was.
I seen the picture. I seen him at Memorial Stadium.
It's him in Memorial.
I didn't know that was I didn't know there was a whole story of that was his first offer situation. I didn't know that. It's funny.
I had no clue about that. We were his first offer out of high school, and then he ultimately ends up going to Iowa State, has a great career there, breaks a bunch of records, and goes to the NBA. A lot of people I've seen posting on social media are like, "Oh, if Tyrese Halliburton came here, man, Nebraska football would be good by now." I'm like, I don't know how that connects, but I saw people posting that photo of him at Memorial Stadium. He chose Iowa State over Nebraska, and that's why football is bad and basketball is this. And I was like, okay.
People will pick and choose to make anything, to make anything feel like, oh, it's not exactly what it is. Like him being on the basketball court has nothing to do with how football ends up.
No, I was like, these are some weird little voodoo magic things that people come up with in their own minds. But Tyrese Halliburton, he's been somebody since. I mean, if you look back at the beginning of the season, there's so many people that have been like, he's overrated. He's just going into the playoffs. He's the most overrated player in the NBA. I think win or lose in this series, and again, I don't want to jinx for the Pacers fans, but win or lose in this series, I think Tyrese Halliburton has proven to the world, at least, that he's not overrated. This man can show up and make big things happen when it needs under pressure. So yeah,
for sure. I don't know if it's just because he's the face of the team to where it's like, I mean, you expect it to be on a Ja Morant type level,
Yeah.
Anthony Edwards type level of that situation. His game is a little bit different. So I don't understand how. I'm like, well, what's the overratedness or what's the over or under, to where it's like, well, why is he, why do people feel necessarily he was overrated? I think more so even at the end of this year, I think he's earned a lot of respect to where people are like, nah, they can actually say, we respect his game. Now he would definitely need to follow up next year with just being probably more consistent.
Yeah.
To erase whatever narrative of, he might take a game off or whatever. But I think he's definitely, woken a lot of people up, and a lot more people will, be definitely paying attention to his game a lot more. And, he's definitely earned and opened the door to a lot more critics, because people will be paying attention because of what he was able to do this year.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see how this series pans out. I'll definitely be locked in on it. It makes it entertaining going into game 3, 1-1. But I kind of want to ask you, I go back to some of these hypotheticals sometimes.
Mm-hmm.
OKC does end up losing this series, and you have to go back to the drawing board going into next season. Like, what do you do if you're OKC? You got all these picks. You've got a great and incredibly deep team. Probably they have the most depth in the NBA, no doubt. What do you do if you're OKC and you end up losing this finals to a team like Indiana, who nobody at one point would have thought had been in this position, 1-1 against arguably the best team, probably the best team in the NBA at the end of the regular season?
I think you might see one of two things. Either, a few picks traded away for veteran leadership that's kind of been in that situation that can, kind of coach through that and everything like that. For instance, Jimmy Butler. To be honest, what would be, really, really great is if a Devin Booker, gets traded to a OKC. You have Shea, who's a point guard that can see the field and everything like that. You got Williams there. I don't know if he'll still be there if you get D-Book, but a veteran presence. And I know he hasn't necessarily been to the multiple playoffs and everything like that, but again, I mean, he's a very elite scorer. He's played at the highest level. He's been to, a finals and everything like that. I know they came up short, but you go get that. I don't think Kevin Durant.
I was just going to ask that.
I don't think Kevin Durant is the best fit just because of the history there. Like, that's a lot of, the old versus the new, and the old way of doing stuff, and he was there for the facilitation of the team moving to OKC and everything like that. So there's the team ain't isn't run how it used to be. So it's like what you kind of know ain't what things are like. So there might be a bit of a beef at some point in time. So I don't know if he's the right person for that or whatnot, but most definitely I think if he does go there, it would help. I just don't know how successful that would be. You would have to go trying to think of a big, like a big man's presence that has gotten to that point to solidify things. Because at that point it's just y'all have gotten there. Y'all the first couple of years y'all got into the playoffs. Y'all made an early exit. It's just understanding the moment and whatnot. And to be honest, it's probably better that Boston isn't there, because Boston was kind of that team. You're going against an inexperienced team in the finals too. So both sides are learning to kind of what's their rhythm, how do they go about their day-to-day stuff. And yes, the coach, has an idea and everything like that, but it's different when you have players that have been in that situation and whatnot. But I think, if they do lose, you have to go get, some type of veteran, leadership that necessarily has been there. Potentially, Giannis, you can add Giannis to that group. You have draft picks. You can give up Chet. I mean, I would give up Chet for Giannis, Chet, and 2 first-round picks. Cause it might get you two rings over the next 2 years.
Yeah, Giannis would be crazy on the Thunder.
You know what I mean? I definitely I know Chet shoots threes and everything like that, but you telling me Giannis can't get you an easy 20 without threes and probably, a bunch of blocks and whatnot. So I think that getting, a veteran presence, necessarily like that would be a little bit different to change your dynamic. Not to say that Chet can't go downhill, but I think Giannis is a lot more like his game is more so attacking downhill. And that pick and roll would Shea with that would be, close to Lob City 2.0.
Oh
so
gosh.
I think if the OKC Thunder do lose it, you have to go get some type of veteran presence that has been there that can orchestrate things and kind of, I don't want to say take over in that, but just remain the calm and keep everything on track and steady in that moment.
Yeah, that would be quite the splash if we go and see OKC pick up Giannis in this offseason. But we'll go ahead and throw it to break. When we come back, let's kind of break down what happened in the Battle of the Boneyard, talk a little Husker recruiting, because there's been a lot of updates in terms of that since all the visitors came in this weekend. So don't go anywhere. Don't Punt Hour. Good morning, Pierson-El, Jackson Countryman. We'll see you on the other side.
Your sprinklers are watering the street or flooding your backyard. If you're on a list that doesn't exist, it's time for Judson Irrigation. At Judson Irrigation, Lee or Lacey or Judson will make an appointment. You pick the time and they'll be there to fix your sprinkler system. Now that's service, a dying art these days.
Keep summer green. Call Judson Irrigation 402-420-6277 or judsonirrigation.com.
Saturday. Eagle Raceway is open for a full season of dirt track racing action every Saturday night. Don't miss the epic battles on the high banks of Eagle Raceway each Saturday between the Nebraska Septic Sprint Cars, Nebraska Lottery Modifieds, Avid Realty Sport Mods, Valentino's Hobby Stocks, and A1 Iron Stock Cars. Let's go racing. Eagle Raceway, just 10 miles east of Lincoln on O Street. Check out the full schedule at eagleraceway.com.
93.7 The Ticket, Fox, KFXL weather. Sponsored by John Henry's Plumbing, Heating, and Air Conditioning.
Plenty of sunshine for the rest of your Monday. We'll get up to 77 for a high temperature. A little breezy with wind gusts up around 30 miles per hour. Tonight, mostly clear, maybe a little hazy from wildfire smoke. We'll drop down to 53 for a low temperature. For Tuesday, tomorrow, sunny and 89 and then mid-90s on Wednesday. I'm meteorologist Aaron Downa for 93.7 The Ticket and ticketfm.com.
Play ball!
Ready for summer fun and ballpark vibes? Bring your pack to Haymarket Park for a thrilling season of Lincoln Salt Dogs baseball and unleash the fun. From May through August, the Lincoln Salt Dogs will be playing and the park will be popping with all the food, drinks, and fun you need for the perfect night out. Grab your friends, family, and coworkers and make plans now. Visit saltdogs.com to secure your tickets. Come on out to the park and unleash the fun.
Rashawn Jackson here for Bauer Infrastructure, a veteran-owned local company proudly serving Lincoln, Lancaster County, and the surrounding areas. Bauer provides quality work at an affordable price, and they're growing rapidly. If you want to experience a career with a fast-paced, family-friendly environment, visit BauerInfrastructure.com. They have top-of-the-line benefits, year-round work, even through the winter. Bauer, usher in the new era of infrastructure to an area near you. And as always, go Big Red!
A1 Automotive's second location is now open at 5110 State Hill Drive, just off of Yankee Hill Road. The new location continues to specialize in all makes and models and provides personalized service as they have for 15 years. To honor the new store opening, A1 is offering $25 off any service over $300, $50 off services over $500, and $75 off services that total over $750, all through July 31st. Schedule your appointment today at a1autolincoln.com and visit their new location in South Lincoln at 5110 State Hill Drive.
Are you a skilled mechanic looking for your next opportunity? Nebco is hiring. They're looking for experienced mechanics to join our family-owned team. They offer competitive wages, great benefits, service trucks, OEM-level diagnostic software, and career growth opportunities. Apply today at nebco.com. Positions include lead and A-level mechanics for the Nebco shop. Learn more at nebco.com. If you're driven and ready to grow with a company that's been around since 1908, apply today at nebco.com.
Hi, Sean Callahan here for Cobble Chevrolet GMC, and they're having the biggest hail sale they've ever had. A huge opportunity is at your front door right now. Some of these cars we're fixing, some we're not, and some it's totally up to you. New Sierra starting at $15,000 off list. New Canyons at $8,500 off list. New body styles on the Acadias, $3,000 off list. You need to hurry as there's going to be a lot of people heading to Louisville. Check us out at cobblecars.com. Stock numbers G121492, G187747, and G196599.
Wall-to-Wall Wine and Spirits is your place in North Lincoln to go for all your needs in wine, spirits, and beer. They also have a large variety of cigars in their walk-in humidor, and they have a top-notch walk-in temperature-controlled high-end wine room. Plus, you can enjoy free samples from their tasting bar. There's only one place to go for all your needs for spirits and cigars. That's Wall-to-Wall Wine and Spirits on North 27th Street in Lincoln.
Lincoln's new craft cocktail lounge is Bar 48 in Lincoln. Located at 2639 North 48th Street, Bar 48 offers everything from cocktails to beer to wine and so much more. With summer right around the corner, you can always enjoy Bar 48's frozen beverages. Follow them on Facebook to stay up to date on their live music performances every Saturday night. Make plans to visit Bar 48 on North 48th Street in the heart of the University Place neighborhood today.
Country music star Rodney Atkins will be performing at the Icebox on Friday, June 20th. Tickets start at $30 and doors open at 7 p.m. The capacity is only 3,000, so don't wait. Buy your tickets at lincolnstars.com today before it sells out.
Attention all Wings fans, Buffalo Wings and Rings has daily specials that will make you want to stop in on all days of the week. Kids eat free on Mondays, and on Tuesdays enjoy 40% off boneless or traditional wings at a price that makes the whole family happy. And come back on Wednesdays for $1.39 chicken tenders all day long. Get to Wings and Rings today, 68th and O, or in Williamsburg Village.
This is the Don't Punt Hour on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com. Powered by the Teammates Mentoring Program. Here is your host, DeMornay Pierson-El.
All right, welcome back in. Don't Punt Hour, DeMornay Pierson-El. Jackson Kleinschmidt here on the ones and twos. You guys can text into the show through our Start Hammer text line, 402-464-5685. That is our text line. If you guys have any questions, want to get involved in the show, go ahead, shoot us a message. I'll read it off. We will go through it, depending on what you say. So, just getting out of some NBA Finals talk. It was a pretty busy Friday night here in Lincoln, if you didn't get the chance to go down there. That was the Battle of the Boneyard, the 7-on-7 event that they had down there at Memorial Stadium. There was so many high school recruits here. 2027 class, 2028 class, and Huddle, I guess, hosted a big event down there as well. So a lot of recruits were here on visits. Trey Taylor, boy, that kid is good. Going down there and watching him. I don't know. Did you get down there at all, DeMornay?
No, I wasn't able to get down there, but I definitely seen a lot of clips.
That kid does not look like he is an upcoming junior. That kid looks like he could play now. I mean, that kid, he looks crazy. I mean, if there's an MVP of the event, it was definitely Trey Taylor. He led his 7-on-7 team that he played for. It was I think it was Miami Raw is what they're called. He led them to the championship of the Battle of the Boneyard. It was crazy seeing a lot of these really young kids play as good as they did. I was like, some of these kids can play now. And he had a great connection with Ahmad Hudson, who's one of the top tight ends in the 27 class, who he's trying to get here, who is a multi-sport athlete that Nebraska basketball actually offered while he was here.
Okay.
So just kind of a recruiting update. There's been a lot of crystal balls or, leans and predictions today. But probably the biggest name one was Luke Sorensen. I know a lot of people have been asking about Luke Sorensen. No relation to early break host Jake Sorensen here at the Ticket. But Luke Sorensen has been crystal balled or leaned, I guess, in terms of on three to Nebraska. He is a 3-star tight end coming from California. Originally was thought to be a Penn State lean and or commit. And then a few other guys here. Hayden Ainsworth, interior O-line, has now been lead towards Nebraska from Biloxi, Mississippi. And Rex Waterman, another offensive tackle, has been a lean to Nebraska. But it was a very busy weekend here. A lot of visitors on campus. Big-time offensive tackle Kelvin Obot was also in the house, who's now being leaned in the same direction as Nebraska. So all in all, a very positive event in terms of recruiting for Nebraska. I know a lot of people have been concerned about the 2026 class because I just said 2027 and it's 2025. I skipped over a year. So 2026 class is looking, I don't know if it's halfway decent. Some people are saying it's halfway bad. We're kind of behind, but we got some guys on the back burner. But I wanted to get your thoughts on what recruiting looks like at Nebraska right now. I've talked a lot with Adam Carricker recently about Husker recruiting and how Nebraska's recruiting at a higher level than ever. But I wanted to get your thoughts on kind of what Husker recruiting has looked like during the summer months, especially in a very important month in college football recruiting here in the month of June.
I think honestly a lot of it has been limbo stuff with the 105. Whether it's gonna be able to is it a go this year? Is it a not go this year? Like, is it gonna be pushed to 3 years? Down the line and everything like that. So I mean, you have to remember, like, okay, well, if it is 105 and it was taken over this year, well, you have to pick what positions that you kind of need, that you want to bring in from high school. And then I think what a lot of other people have forgotten is the JUCO route, which a lot of that you got the transfer portal to where you can hop in there and choose stuff. So again, I mean, Rule, and his calculations and him being, a mad genius with things and everything like that. There's a certain percentage of the roster that will go to each category. A certain percentage will go to guys that are already on the collegiate level, so transfer portal. Guys that will, a certain percentage might come from, JUCO transfers that can, again, help you probably quicker than you bringing in a high school freshman to kind of compete or help beef up stuff and everything like that. So I don't think it's weak or it's behind or anything like that. I just don't think people realize what the formula is. And if Nebraska wants to be good now and, take the next step of what the next years are following to come to kind of get those higher caliber athletes at a younger age, you probably have to go with some older guys that, that been around the block or to understand, what it is playing at the collegiate level. Of course, you're going to still go after your guys coming in at the high school level, but it might not be as the 4 stars that you're thinking of or the 5 stars necessarily that you're thinking of. They might be saving those positions for transfer portal or, JUCO guys coming in. Because, again, those guys can probably make a more immediate, mark to help the team. It will be more significant. It will be quicker. It will show up faster than necessarily maybe some of these freshmen coming in. Not to say that freshmen coming in can't do things or whatnot, but you got to understand, college football is a business right now. So business do what's best necessarily for them. So just because we're not taking, the top recruits and everything like that, it's like, they might be playing a long game, okay, those will be, our concrete core guys that will build, 2 to 3 years down the line. But as of right now, to give, Raiola and Dana the tools that they need on the offense, or to give, the defense the tools and everything like that, you need guys that have played at the collegiate level, that have played on the field, that has, at least some significant time, that, aren't afraid of, the bullets flying and everything like that, to step in to make sure that Nebraska is still continue to win. And then, the exchange of that is a year or two down the line. Well, when you look back, hey, these past 2 years or these past 3 years, hey, we've won over 8 games. We've gone to 2 or 3 bowl games. We've won, bowl games. We've gotten dudes drafted and everything like that. Then our facilities, are top 5 in the nation. When you combine all of that and everything like that, when kids come out here, it's going to be hard for them to say no. Plus, on top of that, the money that's backing Nebraska with NIL, if people are thinking about that, you have a lot of businesses, in the state of Nebraska that will contribute to, the Cornhuskers and their success. So when people come out here and see how the facility is, like, the boneyards and everything like that, when they come back out here, man, I really thought that was real nice and everything like that, for that to be, not during the season. And you come back out here for the night game, they've seen it televised with, the Colorado game and everything like that. So people, will remember that. I remember y'all played, Travis and Deion's son So that alone would sell itself, so that'll be sold, that'll be a selling point the next 2 or 3 years down the line, just because of, the atmosphere of that. So when people come out here and see that, and you got nothing but facts to back it up and whatnot, the recruits will start to jump on board. Then you'll start to get, your higher caliber 4 stars and 5 stars and everything like that. So I think it's a method to the madness, and it's one of those situations to where I'm not concerned with them not getting certain guys, because I understand how, the transformation of college football is going, and you have to kind of dip your toes in all ponds to make everything, go on an equal cylinder level.
Yeah, it was just very interesting to see like the turnout of what was the battle of the Boneyard. Like just today, it felt like my phone was just buzzing every, 30 minutes with recruit updates, and they were all good for Nebraska. I was seeing guys like Brian Munson and Mike Schaefer just log their predictions because based off of what they were hearing. So to me, all that shows is that the Battle of the Boneyard was a success in
for sure.
I mean, they were able to get guys on this campus that either one weren't even visiting, they were just playing in their 7-on-7, or 2, they brought official visits in for this event, which just made them turn their eyes towards Nebraska, because they got to get a glimpse of the fan base, the facilities, kind of be around a bunch of other really cool, high school recruits and other guys that, that their age and whatnot. And then they got to be around, the captain, the main man himself, Dylan Raiola, who was down there just recruiting it up. But I think it's been evident, definitely for sure, the focus has been more on, getting, kind of like that veteran leadership. They're looking in the portal more. And I definitely kind of saw that in a sense when they went out and get Trey Taylor. Now, obviously, he hasn't played yet, so he's not in that veteran status. But they jump a class, go and get a really, really talented quarterback in Trey Taylor, who's a top guy, future 5-star level type of guy, who's now peer recruiting kind of the same way Dylan Raiola did. And it sets it up perfectly, because Trey Taylor's freshman year, as of right now, he technically could graduate early and enroll in the class of 26 technically. But as of right now, Trey Taylor would roll in what would be Dylan Raiola's last year, most likely. If he's who we think he is, which I definitely think he is that guy, he will be going to the NFL draft after that year. So I think Rule sees this and it's like, okay, I'm going to go get my next guy up. And he went and got a dog, a guy who was recruiting. So I think we're going to start seeing a shift in terms of how teams recruit, because it seems like you get the quarterback, that's when your recruiting class starts. Like for real, that's when recruiting hits the ground running.
I mean, you have to realize, I mean, well, with his situation, I mean, we see a lot of what happens today. Kids aren't happy that they're not playing. Well, you come into Nebraska, if they went and got a quarterback last year and everything like that, you're not going to play. I mean, look at what happened with Danny. I mean, the writings, on the wall, you're going to sit for your whole college career because they're failing somebody. So, you skip a class and go in between. That way, if he does choose to leave and is leaving early and whatnot, you kind of replace it with, again, another top recruit. Part two of that is you have to understand that if your quarterback is balling, if your quarterback is the reason why college scouts are coming, and we'll see with this year and over the next year how many players get drafted or get picked up or do well and everything like that. Kids don't want to come here because that kid's balling. You know what I mean? Raiola has an aura. He has a base, and not just a fan base, but college scouts are looking at him and everything like that. So again, scouts are going to be there watching stuff and everything like that. And if you could follow that up with, again, another high caliber type of guy that can step in and kind of take over, or just it might not necessarily be a fall off, but again, you have top talent here that surround him with good veteran dudes. The kids that are here with Raiola, they'll be here for a while. Who says they're going to leave when Raiola leaves? So even if you get a freshman guy with a veteran line, that makes it a lot easier on a freshman quarterback. And so it's just kind of one of those things that if you have, a very active or a very, well-known quarterback and whatnot, that makes the job a lot easier because kids are going to want to go to where if your quarterback is good, you're going to win games. So I think that there's definitely a correlation with that. And again, I mean, even if you go back and get, we've seen it with Ohio State. How many guys have they gotten that are top and over the years, within a year or two, they left. Joe Burrow didn't play at Ohio State. He left.
Yeah, and he wanted to come here.
You know what I mean? Like, so it's only going to be one quarterback that can play. So unless the quarterbacks that you have there you aren't confident in, then you'll see the Will Howards and the Kyle McCord type situations to where you can kind of step in and take over a situation like that. So I mean that's just what recruiting will be. I mean, I don't think teams will necessarily recruit top of the top best quarterbacks year after year because they're only going to be there for maybe a year and a half. And if it don't change, they're out. Jalen Hurts played at, Alabama. He lost his position. He stayed there for a year and everything like that. And at some point in time, he did everything what he needed to do to try and win his spot back. And they just were moving on to the next best situation for that organization. And he did what was best for him. So, I mean, that's not something that hasn't happened or new. That's new to, college football. It's been happening. It's been happening since before then. That's just what it's going to be. You're going to skip at least a year in between before having, a really good quarterback, unless your quarterback is going to stay there for 4 or 5 years. But if the NFL draft's is calling and you got, probably a top 2-round guy, he's probably gone.
Yeah, no, for sure. I mean, that's what I kind of see with Dylan Raiola. That's why I was like, Trey Taylor's totally comfortable coming in. And you've already kind of seen like a mentor-mentee type of relationship already developing between those two, just watching how they interacted at the Battle of the Boneyard. I mean, it was crazy seeing pretty much an equal line for the kids that wanted pictures with both of those quarterbacks. It was pretty much the exact same amount of people in each line. And Trey Taylor hasn't even played a snap of Nebraska football yet. So all in all, the Battle of the Boneyard was just an incredible success in my eyes. It didn't have, the spring game level of attendance that you would think it would be, I guess. Because I know some people thought that there was going to be, like thousands upon thousands of people there. I mean, there wasn't, but it was a great free event, and it was an all-around just a win for Nebraska. But we're coming up here on our second and final break of the show. Don't go anywhere. When we come back, we're going to talk about a little bit of NFL news that came out today. So don't go anywhere. Good morning, Pierson-El, Jackson Kleinschmidt. Don't go anywhere. We'll be right back.
Are you ready for a new opportunity? Check out Sandhills Global. Join a dynamic team where your skills are valued and your career can soar. We offer full-time positions with a 4.5-day work week, competitive pay, excellent benefits, and a positive work environment. From IT and marketing to sales and finance, we're looking for talented individuals just like you. Apply today at sandhills.jobs and take the first step towards an exciting future. That's sandhills.jobs. Don't wait, apply now.
Saturday. Eagle Raceway is open for a full season of dirt track racing action every Saturday night. Don't miss the epic battles on the high banks of Eagle Raceway each Saturday between the Nebraska Septic Sprint Cars, Nebraska Lottery Modifieds, Avid Realty Sport Mods, Valentino's Hobby Stocks, and A1 Iron Stock Cars. Let's go racing. Eagle Raceway, just 10 miles east of Lincoln on O Street. Check out the full schedule at eagleraceway.com.
Just to replace the roof.
Wait, what? I thought everything was fine.
Yeah, it says right here our roof is too old and they won't be able to cover us anymore.
I guess it is 15 years old. Hi, I'm Austin with Roofing Service Company. We help homeowners with their roofing and siding projects. Financing options are available and we can get you under a new roof no time at all. If this sounds like you, visit roofingservicecompany.com. That is roofingservicecompany.com.
A1 Automotive's second location is now open at 5110 State Hill Drive, just off of Yankee Hill Road. The new location continues to specialize in all makes and models and provides personalized service as they have for 15 years. To honor the new store opening, A1 is offering $25 off any service over $300, $50 off services over $500, and $75 off services that total over $750, all through July 31st. Schedule your appointment today at a1autolincoln.com and visit their new location in South Lincoln at 5110 State Hill Drive.
Advanced Medical Imaging is the largest radiology group in Nebraska, located in Lincoln at 7601 Pioneers Boulevard. At Advanced Medical Imaging, they utilize state-of-the-art technology and blend it together with their compassionate, skilled team to guide you through every step. Whether it's an MRI, CT scan, or X-ray, their precise diagnostics help your doctor deliver the best care plan for you. Choose clarity and comfort in your life by choosing Advanced Medical Imaging, located at 7601 Pioneers Boulevard and online at amimaging.com.
Be at the 32nd Annual Testicle Festival for some fun, rain or shine. Free entry for military. It's at Round the Bend Steakhouse in Ashland, June 14th from 11 to 10. Take I-80 exit 426, roundthebendsteakhouse.com.
Wall-to-Wall Wine and Spirits is your place in North Lincoln to go for all your needs in wine, spirits, and beer. They also have a large variety of cigars in their walk-in humidor, and they have a top-notch walk-in temperature-controlled high-end wine room. Plus, you can enjoy free samples from their tasting bar. There's only one place to go for all your needs for spirits and cigars. That's Wall-to-Wall Wine and Spirits on North 27th Street in Lincoln.
Hey there, this is Paul Scheel, owner of High Electric. I want to thank our friends and loyal customers and introduce High Electric to those looking for a new electrician. We've been serving the Lincoln and Omaha area for over 30 years, from design to install, upgrades, and repair. If you are a homeowner or a small business needing some electrical work, call us at 402-466-6606 or check us out at hyelectric.com. We look forward to hearing from you.
This is Bill Mitchner, Executive Director of Lincoln Lighthouse. Did you know Lighthouse provides multiple programs for students such as one-on-one tutoring and mentoring, as well as pro-social skill exercises, while providing them a nourishing meal and a safe space during all months of the year, even during school breaks? Learn more or contribute to Lighthouse at lincolnlighthouse.org today.
Country music star Rodney Atkins will be performing at the Icebox on Friday, June 20th. Tickets start at $30 and doors open at 7 p.m. The capacity is only 3,000, so don't wait. Buy your tickets at lincolnstars.com today before it sells out.
With the Planet Fitness Black Card, you can bring a friend anytime and so much more when you join today. You heard that right. Conquer the stair climber with your partner in climb. Enjoy a post-workout recovery session in the hydro massage and do it all again with access to any of our 2,700 convenient locations. So, you coming? Get all the perks with the PF Black Card for $1 down and $24.99 a month.
Hurry! You won't want to miss this exclusive offer. Deal ends June 13th.
See Club for details.
This is the Don't Punt Hour on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com. Powered by the Teammates Mentoring Program. Here is your host, DeMornay Pierson-El.
Back for one final segment here on the Don't Punt Hour. You can get any of your last thoughts in at 402-464-5685. But we got about 6-7 minutes here left on the show. There was some NFL news today, which is nice for an NFL guy like myself during the month of June. But the Packers have made the decision. I know they've been in a contract dispute with this man, but they have made a decision to cut all-pro cornerback and Pro Bowl cornerback Jair Alexander. So I just wanted to get your thoughts on what you think about the Packers cutting a guy like Jair Alexander.
You know, the Packers have they move on from players. They probably, I will feel like they've been one of the better organizations to when it's kind of time or cut time before it gets there. They've done well at season opportunities. I mean, they've offered him contracts. They tried to do certain things and everything like that. And you know, they cut their loss. I mean,
Yeah.
he's an absolute, heck of a player. I think he's still in his prime. I still think, he's probably a top 10 corner easily when healthy and whatnot. It's gonna suck, but watch out for a crosstown rival. With I think the Vikings. The Vikings have a rookie quarterback. They got a lot of money that they could probably spend elsewhere to get some star power. I mean, you do have a rookie quarterback. If you go and spend that money to help the defense, which was a bit of a struggle, to create more turnovers, to give the ball more opportunities to a rookie quarterback. I think that might be a good investment. So Green Bay, watch out, because he could come back. He could come back and haunt you.
Yeah, it's interesting when you take a look at their kind of cornerback room here. The next man up, who would be the CB1 as of right now, would be Nate Hobbs, and then after that it's Keyshawn Nixon, Carrington Valentine, Javon Bullard. The list goes on, but it's not horrible. But I've seen some people say that maybe they go get somebody that's going to be cheaper, because there's still some pretty decent veteran corners out there in free agency. I mean,
for sure.
Stephon Gilmore, Rasul Douglas, who's a former Packer, out there. And then you got a guy like Jalen Ramsey, who's out there. I mean, Jalen Ramsey and Jair Alexander are both free agents now, which is crazy to think about.
Jalen hasn't been released?
Yeah, he has.
By the Dolphins?
Aren't they trying to get rid of him?
Yeah, he's still under contract. They're trying to get a trade package. He hasn't been released yet.
I thought that they already released him. So, okay, well, never mind. He's not... But he's someone on the market. He's someone on the market. I'll say that. For some reason, I thought that he also got released. But
no, there's been talks. He's not. He hasn't gone anywhere yet. They're trying to get a trade compensation for that. But yeah, there are still if not a solidified lockdown corner. You have some CB2s that can be in that role. I think Nate Hobbs. I know he played in a nickel a lot with the Raiders and whatnot. I know Nixon has definitely stepped up and whatnot. I mean, again, they gamble on their young players and they bring talented people in there. So if they feel comfortable with letting that type of caliber player walk, you best believe they have something up their sleeve for a reason why to let him go and not work it out.
Yeah, on the flip side of that, where do you think Jair Alexander fits in on another team? Like, I can't think of a team right now, to be honest.
Honestly, I would think if he's going to be going for money wise,
yeah.
I think that list is very, very, very short.
That's what I was thinking. I don't
depending on what happens in the situation with Miami, I think Miami might be in a position to maybe pay him that. But if you want to, if you want to take a friendly deal and kind of get you kind of back to where you wanted at and have a healthy year to prove your stats and everything like that, I think there are probably two places that are, I think, at the top of the list. Well, really three, if you want to be honest. I think the Vikings, again, they don't have a true number one corner. Again, with their situation with having a rookie quarterback, you can take a gamble and okay, if you can do a 2-year deal front heavy, and with Flores still being the DC there and everything like that. I mean, he had Gilmore with the Patriots and everything like that. I mean, he had a top 5 defense. So you get thrown into that, and you're going against, one of the better receivers in practice. So, I mean, your practices is going to be harder than the games. You're going to get turnovers because the defensive line, creates things. So I think there would be a good spot. I think Baltimore is they're a playoff team. You can go get you a ring. You might be the difference in 1 or 2 turnovers against Mahomes or Allen. That D line is their front 7 is going to get you pressure and whatnot. I mean, you can be a little bit more gamble chasey, and you don't necessarily have to follow around the number 1 because you got Marlon there. You can play cornerback 2, or you can go into the slot, or they could put Wiggins, I think, or Higgins in the slot, and you can be outside. But that gets you paid and more money. And then the Chiefs, for whatever reason, the Chiefs always. I know McDuffie is there and whatnot, but again, like, you don't have to do the number 1 stuff. And I mean, teams
You got a
will
pretty good chance.
people will have to. I mean, you got Mahomes, so I mean, outside of maybe the Vikings, I think the Vikings will still be a playoff team potentially. But outside of that, I mean, you're probably going to be in the postseason, and if you're not, the CB number 1, you're going to be for sure CB2. But teams are going to have to either pick on Marlon or you. Teams are going to have to pick on McDuffie or you in Spagnolia's, defensive scheme. Again, that's going to get you paid. All you need, is a year or two, and you can come back and reset the market with a ring and everything like that. So it depends on, what he would like to do. I think he'll probably go somewhere where it's more of a contender or somebody that's going to give him, a huge contract. Jacksonville could do it, but again, I mean,
That's true.
Again, do you want to go to Jacksonville? And
I've seen some people kind of throwing the Eagles out there, but I just didn't think there'd be a need.
That's a lot of money.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
For a year, I mean, you're renting them for a year.
For a team that's got Cooper DeJean and Quinion Mitchell out there, Quintanamo Bay, I think as people call him.
I could see the Eagles, but I mean, again, like I said, you won't get a strat, deal or whatnot. I mean, being under Fangio and understanding, his schemes and stuff like that. Again, if he does go to that scheme or whatnot, that's he's going to make him a lot of money. Because I mean, Fangio's defense is going to be top 3 in the NFL. Like that's what's going to happen. So I just don't think that money wise, I don't know if they could swing that. They paid some people, this off season, or last off season, and they're probably going to have to make, a few other contracts. Probably they like to handle things early. So I don't yes, does that make you better? But I think they also have some good players in that facility that they can kind of manage with things and whatnot. Like I said, I think Baltimore, I think the Vikings, and I think the Chiefs probably can offer him a fairly medium deal to where you get, a good bang for your buck for a year or two. Yeah. And with your production, again, with that defensive scheme and whatnot, you can definitely do some things.
Yep. Well said. Well, that'll do it for the Don't Punt Hour here. Don't go anywhere. We'll keep Ticket Weeknights rolling here with some to replace for the next 2 hours. But thank you to Morty for joining me. That'll do it for the Don't Punt Hour here on 93.7 The Ticket.
Play ball! Haymarket Park is buzzing with excitement this summer. Grab your crew and get in on the fun. Be sure to catch all the daily specials and promotions this season, like Thirsty Thursday, Fireworks Friday, Souvenir Saturday, Family Fun Day Sunday, plus special events and discounts all summer long. Don't miss out on the action as the Lincoln Salt